A lot of you guys know, a few weeks back, I went for a week to Las Vegas to the annual CinemaCon conference where it's always a good time. And this year, I got to see 3 movies I really liked. And one of the ones was a film I was hoping would be awesome, feared it would suck, and it turned out blowing away my expectations. It's so good, and that film is Neighbors. And joining us today here in studio right now, I'm really excited to have one of the stars of the film, Ike Barinholtz, and the director of the film, Mr. Nicholas Stoller. Guys, thanks so much for being here today.
Yeah. Boom.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you
Right
very
there.
much. What were the other 2 movies you saw?
I saw Draft Day, and I saw $1 Million Arm.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Sports
Yes.
movies.
Yes, we're a sports movie.
Yeah, we were the
In
best
many ways.
non-sports movies.
The best non-sports movie at CinemaCon.
Yeah, it's in
this
the
year.
con. Yeah, it's a very specific niche.
Ike, I want to start with you about this because we look at the posters and everybody's seeing Rogan, Efron.
And you're wondering, why am I not on the poster?
I just assumed there was a typo of some kind.
Listen, here's the deal.
But no, you look
this is so
at the
embarrassing.
cast in this. Beyond the 2 leads, I mean, we've got you, Dave Franco, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, on and on and on. This is a terrific cast. What was the chemistry like on set for you guys all working together? How did that go?
Everyone, I think, like Nick and Seth and Evan have like a no jerks policy. I feel like, I think they subscribe to the life is too short theory, and I think if you have one jerk on your set, it can kind of make shooting really
Makes it a bummer.
Yeah, it makes it a bummer. Yeah. So everyone was so nice and so excited, and the mood was so irreverent and fun. And when you're making a really funny, fun film, you're just in a good mood. So everyone was kind of constantly good. And plus, Nick gave everyone drugs.
They didn't know. They didn't know.
No, that's the thing.
It was the other
I was
way.
just eating the food. I was like, this is really good crafty. And then I was high.
And then you're like, why did you do that? That's not.
Yeah, no, there's a pretty gigantic lawsuit. It's going to break on deadline very soon. So
You've kept it under wraps very well.
we have, but we have to, part of the court order.
There's a lot of breaking on this movie. Like a lot of people
breaking.
cracking up.
Yeah.
Break with more than any movie I've done. And I had to figure out, because I like it to be a light, fun set.
Right.
But when people break, I can't use the footage.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to find the right way to say like, oh, okay, come on, guys.
We were, you would just hear like, seriously, guys, we have to move on.
I get it, that wiener joke's funny. We do have to get it.
Yeah, guys,
but
we got it.
laughing.
We got it. Seriously, enough.
Most of the scenes, especially with you and Seth and Rose, I'm cutting right, like you can see them start to smile. Yeah. Like I'm cutting right at the beginning of a smile happening on basically all of those scenes.
I'm glad you brought up Rose, actually, because I think a lot of people won't be prepared for how key her character really is in the film. Because a lot of these types of comedies, they can take their female characters, right, and just kind of shove them off to the side as window dressing.
nagging
And
wife
you guys
or
don't. She's a terrific character.
She's
Talk
the
about her role.
MVP of the film, I would say. I feel like she.
What does that mean? I don't know sports.
Ready for this? I saw Draft Day, most valuable player.
Oh.
But she really, I think, anchors it, because otherwise it's just like 2 dumb guys. But when you add in like a dummy like her, a dumb wife, it really, I mean, Nick made a great point. We were watching the movie, he goes, everyone in this movie is a moron. And Dave Franco's character is somewhat redeemable, because he's like,
He called himself the smartest of the dumb guys.
yeah. But like, I mean, the opening scene, this married couple is debating whether or not to bring their baby to a rave. And the only thing that prevents them is exhaustion.
Yeah, they would do it.
Their natural tiredness got the best
and
of
our
them.
budget. It really is our budget prevented it from
We
taking
wanted
it.
to shoot a
We
rave
were like,
scene.
can we figure, how do we do a rave? We're like, we can't figure it out. Our budget was very small. So.
But yeah, she is so funny in the movie, and just so has, I think, the best lines in the movie.
And really game to do whatever.
Yeah, down for whatever.
Now, Nick, you did a film, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. That is, it's one of those movies that I'll watch 5 or 6 times a year. Like, it's just that great.
Whenever it's on TV, I watch the whole thing. I watch the whole thing.
You just can't turn it off. But you've also written a lot of great stuff. Comedy to me is one of those things. Like, all film is subjective, but comedy more than anything else is the most subjective thing. I mean, what makes one person laugh may not make another. You found great success in making people laugh. Now, this is going to be a really hard one to answer, I understand, but what do you think? What is that key for you? And what is it about you that allows you to find that way to make people laugh? Why does that work so well in your films?
Well, thanks very much. Penis jokes.
They look funny.
They look funny.
They're weird-looking things.
They look funny.
They're
yeah,
gross
they're
and
weird.
they're funny.
I think it's, I start with a kind of dramatic structure. Like all of the movies I've done, I think the best comedies are inherently dramatic, and I try to have a kind of emotionally relatable idea at the center of each of the movies, and then hang the jokes on it. If you start with the jokes, your movie won't work. So it's like, so like with Freddie and Sarah Marshall, it is like on its surface kind of a dramatic story about a guy having a breakdown because his girlfriend dumped him. It's like, so yeah, and I think that's, and I think that's true of like, each of the movies I've done, that there is something dramatic happening at the center of it, So.
Ike, this is a fairly big period of time for you because not only do you have the film, but just recently they announced your show, The Mini Project's been picked up for a 3rd season.
Season 3.
Talk about a little bit about that, but also straddling that world. I'm always fascinated talking to actors who are doing TV while they're doing films at the same time and how you make that all work.
Well, I think definitely, I mean, you even told me that he saw me on The Mini Project and then kind of was like, oh yeah, he could be in this movie, he could play this moron. He's a moron in this show. I've seen him play a moron.
Pilot and was like, who? Because I wasn't familiar with your work before, and I was like, who is that?
Wow, that guy is a real idiot.
He's so dumb.
He's a dope. And I have another film where I need a dope.
Like an aggressive. The thing is you're really angry and aggressive. Like there's a line that doesn't. It's not even a joke, but it makes me laugh really hard when they're coming up to the blacklight party, and you just go like, What took you guys so long? Like so angry for no reason, like at all times. Where were you? What took you guys so long?
I've been waiting here for like an hour.
Why were you there so early?
I don't know. I'm an idiot. But it's amazing to last summer wrap the Mini Project and then like a couple of days later go right into working with another group of amazingly funny, cool people. It's very, very, very lucky.
Well, listen, we asked our viewers if they had any questions for you, and I want to remind you guys, Neighbors opens in AMC theaters everywhere tonight. You can actually head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. But we want to take a couple of your questions that you guys have been tweeting in to #NeighborsAMC. And starting it off, we got JFLPP writes in, have either of you guys ever actually had...
I call him Jeff Poole.
Yeah.
Jeff Poole.
Have either of you guys actually ever had bad neighbors in your life, or were you ever one of the bad neighbors?
I lived like 2 doors down from Wrigley Field in Chicago, so I had like 50,000 bad neighbors for a summer. That
sounds horrible.
It was a nightmare.
Absolutely
like literally, like you'd wake up to like the sounds of urination right by you, and you would hear like, "I'm gonna kick your ass, Pat!" So I had like 50,000 of them, all spread out over one horrible summer. But I've been very lucky otherwise. All my other neighbors are very kind people. What about you?
Yeah, I actually really haven't had any, nothing that interesting, especially since I made a movie about bad neighbors. I have no real experience. We were kind of loud in college. We would blast Star Wars at 3 in the morning. And our upstairs neighbors would be like, "Can you turn it down?" And we'd be like, "Okay."
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They were so mad, and we would like turn up. We're gonna show them. We're gonna blast the like Cantina theme. We're gonna blast the Cantina theme at 3 in the morning. They're like, "Can you please turn it down?"
We're dealing with some real tough guys downstairs.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
There are 2 members of Asian American Christian Fellowship that come down and be like, "Can you please turn that off?" We'd be like, "No, okay, fine." 4 sober nerds watching Star Wars.
I had friends in the Asian American Christian Fellowship.
Yeah. Sober nerds. 4 sober nerds.
What is funnier than a sober nerd?
Watching Star Wars.
Okay, let me get another one in here.
That scene was cut from the movie. That's too crazy.
I hope that answers your question, Jeff.
Yeah, I think it was really good. Johnny Bravo Man writes in, he says, during the early stages of production, did you think that this movie was going to be a success, and why? And actually, I love that question because I often like to ask, like, do you guys ever have that moment on set? Because, everything looks great in pre-production, and then you go on a set, and sometimes you get that moment where you can tell this isn't working or this is really clicking on all cylinders. What was that moment for you when you realized this movie is really coming together?
Well, I mean, I think I always feel like the movies are going well while I'm making them, and then you don't really know what's going to happen when you release it. It's like, and I think there's something extra magical that happens when a movie comes out that is going to do well. Like, it's like a marketing thing. Who knows what it is? There's like a bunch of things that happen. So I don't really know. I get a sense, obviously, if the movie itself is working, but whether it's going to do well is like a whole other thing.
I could kind of tell when honestly, that sounds lame, when I kind of heard what the story was, and that it was Zac Efron versus Seth.
It's funny to look at them.
Literally that poster, I mean, right away you're like, okay, I get it.
You can be illiterate and be like, He's young and he's old. They don't like each other.
He's a little fatter than that one.
Yeah. And there's a baby. I like the baby.
I like the baby in the thing. And then when we were shooting it, you could just tell. Like, I think if you know the movie has a hook, and you're shooting it and it's fun, and you're like, okay, this will be a movie people will watch. I feel like,
Jonah Hill is a really good thing that he said that I thought was really accurate, which is when you're shooting a movie where every day it feels like a different movie, that it's like a good sign. Like, and this movie really was like 2 completely different movies. It was like a very sweet family story, and then like
crazy,
and then Project X like murder story.
Well, guys, listen, thanks so much for taking time to come in here. Listen, this movie is ridiculously funny. I already saw it at CinemaCon. I'm going to go see it again tonight.
Look at that.
So head on over, get your tickets now to amctheaters.com. Ike, thanks so much for coming in. Congratulations on the show and the film.
Thank you so much.
Nicholas, continued success, and really great job on this film.
Thanks so much.
Hey everyone, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.